So, as Seth mentioned, Mike Aragon with AdMedia. I have been with the company for a few years now, and it's a pleasure to connect with you all and to coalesce with you all today. So, with that, let's go to the next slide, if we can get this guy to work. There we go. All right. So let's dig in. I am extremely happy to be here in New York. I came in from Portland, Maine, and on Saturday, over the weekend, there was a huge storm. It actually took down power lines, it took down trees, and it resulted in blackouts for over 200,000 homes. So on Sunday, I actually checked into a hotel just so I could shower and get on Wi-Fi, and then came in on Monday. So glad to be in a room that actually has power and energy. So quite literally, that's what it was in Portland. While we're on this slide, just raise a hand. How many folks feel like metaphorically this is their typical workday? Anybody? We got a couple? Wow, you guys are so lucky. Feels like often we get things every day coming from different angles. We've got to navigate them. There's obviously some headwinds and surprises that each day brings, but we power through and we weather the storm. So with that, let's talk about some headwinds and some trends in the auto industry for 2024. All right, cool. So we know that the ad spend within automotive continues to rise. 2023, the projection was about north of $19 billion, and that's up year over year, as you can see on the table on the right. Obviously, there's been a lot of challenges over the past few years within the landscape. So we've obviously had the quarantine and COVID, and that extended the consumer path to purchase by a few months. Kind of recovered from that now across Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. However, we also had a lot of strikes. The big three domestic strikes happened last year. And then there's continuing supply chain issues with chips. So those things are still impacting the industry. I think in the second half of last year, we saw a big rebound. There was a lot more inventory for new cars across dealerships and less of a focus on used cars, which definitely spiked up during quarantine and due to the chip shortage. Cost of media. We continue to see CPCs rise, and with Google, for example, you can see the year-over-year trend and the inflation to cost of media. This translates to obviously impact on the back end if you're a performance marketer or direct response. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail, but it is a significant trend, and with shifts to PMAX, lack of transparency across some of the legacy engines, it definitely is disrupting, or distracting, I should say, efforts to market digitally. Recalls, of course, that's kind of a sacrilege term, I guess, to say in a room full of automotive marketers, but recalls continue to happen, and we saw several hundred of those last year. The big recall is gonna be here soon enough, and this guy is going to come and start eating quite a lot of third-party cookies. It's finally here, guys. It's been pushed back 2-3 years, right? And the sandbox is now open. So developers are actually diving in. They're playing around in the sandbox. They're getting things ready for when third-party cookies go away. We have a solution for that, and we'll talk through that in a little bit of a sec here. Okay, so who are we? AdMedia. Like Seth mentioned, we have partnered with MediaPost for the last few years across multiple events. I think this is the 4th or 5th time that we've done the New York and LA Auto Show in partnership with them. And we feel like we have a really good solution for the automotive landscape. I mentioned cost of increases in CPCs on the engines. With us, we're not as saturated as the engines. So our cost of media is much more effective. On average, we typically come in about 25% in the cost of media relative to Google. And I mean, that results in 4 clicks for everyone that you're paying for on the Google side. Our quality is very strong too. But hypothetically, even if our conversion rate were to be 50% that of Google, the efficiency on the cost of media results in a better return on investment on the back end. So that's where we add a lot of value. On top of that, we add incremental reach through the form of our owned and operated properties. So these sites that we own do not go up into PMPs. They don't overlap with the Google or Bing partner networks. It's purely incremental. So in order to get that reach, you need to run with us. And we offer a fully managed service as well. Wow, that's loud now. Okay, so let's move on. Here are some sites that we have as part of our publisher network that are either owned and operated or biddable or exclusive partner inventory. Like New York Post, for example, we power all of their paid search. And then you can see the category endemic sites below, as well as some of our automotive client advertising partners. So that's where your ads can appear. And again, we do have, because of our O&O, the ability to capture first-party cookie data, which will obviously not be impacted by third-party cookies going away. So that is something that we have definitely prepped for and will be ready for once the end of the year cookie apocalypse happens. Okay, so just going to spend a couple of minutes here talking about typical ad formats. While we are channel agnostic, our bread and butter and our sweet spot is really in that lower part of the funnel. So any type of direct response or performance marketing where there's a back-end goal, we definitely do a great job hitting that and maximizing return on investment. This is a typical search ad on localpages.com. If you were to do a search for Nissan, you would see the Nissan ad there, powered by AdMedia. So very standard, typical search, and very cost-effective. Another unique ad format is our contextual unit. So this is a cookieless solution, and we utilize a sophisticated proprietary solution that we have developed over the years. And it takes a cross-functional variety of signals to determine the best mapping of an ad to the content on a publisher page. So you could see the URL match, the content match on both sides, not just on the pub side, but actually on the advertiser landing page, as well as the creative and the keywords that they're bidding on. And we can contextually or natively place an ad within relevant content, thereby increasing engagement. And once the user lands on the site, they're typically there for a while. High time on site, multiple page views per visit, and driving key buying actions. So our MO is really to land and expand. We like to initially crawl, then walk together, and then ride together. We start to hit the gas pedal once we are actually in that sweet spot. So a lot of changes, a lot of things ahead for 2024. And that road that we all have to navigate is always under construction, right? But we'd like to take that ride with you. So, like I mentioned, walk together, and hopefully we can all ride together. So I'll keep it short. That's all for me. Thank you all for the time, and looking forward to a great and amazing show.